Obligatory podcast intro.
Hello and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt with my co-host Adam, and this show is where we take all 6 letters of the alphabet, we put them in a bucket, and we each draw a letter and then pick a comic that begins with that letter. I don't know his, he doesn't know mine. Spoilers ahead for these 2 comics for sure, and possibly anything else we get into, so I apologize, but spoilers ahead.
No regards to spoilers.
And I can tell from Adam's face that we're kind of, I don't know if we're ready for this one. So I don't know what's going on here, but I can tell from his face it's
all right.
It's gonna
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
All right. So
He's
I got
a wiki
E.
pulled up.
What did you get?
I don't know. What did I get?
What letter did you get?
Z.
Z.
Yeah, I got Z.
Awesome.
You got E, and
so I got E. You got Z. I was like, cool. I have an easy letter. Matt has a hard letter. Ha. Screw him.
I was fine.
Yeah, Matt had
I
zero
found
problem.
Plenty of stuff.
I had many problem. So I went to half price like normal, and they literally had 5 different titles. Each of them probably had 2 books each, which was a little unusual. But there's probably only 5 different titles they had. A few of them, 2 of them were Image comics, and I didn't want to do another Image comic right away. And what was so one of the other ones was a super mainstream, something that wasn't even a good one of that. I forgot what it was, but I was like, this isn't even like it was like a collection of side stories, which I didn't find out that the one I ended up getting is basically that.
A side story?
Kind of, like filling in blanks that aren't talked about.
It's like
in
an
the main
anime
story.
filler movie.
Yes, exactly. So
no one asked for this.
I found this crazy hardback called Elfquest. I had 0 prior knowledge of this Elfquest world that's been around since 1978.
Oh wow! So you got
started as a comic book series. It has, oh my god, so many issues. They didn't even have a complete. One of them went to 70 issues, maybe.
So the arcs were just random amount of numbers?
Yeah, so like, all right, so when they started, it's run by a husband and wife duo called Wendy and Richard Pini, P-I-N-I. So Wendy is the like main base of operation. She's the writer and the artist.
What does he do?
So he writes as well.
Okay.
And he did colors or something else, something as well.
He just massages and coffee runs.
Yeah, so
Put
when
my
they
name on the book.
The very first issue got released in 78, and it was, or 77 maybe. It was crap. They had somebody else print it. It was the worst printing they'd ever seen. They said, "Screw that. We're gonna do it from now on." So they made their own company called Warp Graphics, which was their like publishing company to publish their own comic book.
Right.
So they reprinted that first issue like how they wanted to, and then started from there. And they ran it for God, how long? Final was 2014. So they started the main storyline started in 1978 and ended in 2018.
Jesus.
And from the beginning,
all one storyline.
yes.
Holy
from
shit.
the beginning, they had this end written down.
Oh wow.
They
so
completely
knew.
outlined the entire thing and had it
Holy
written
shit,
down.
this is like
there
an
was
anime.
no retconning whenever they wanted to change this or that.
So no soft restarts.
No.
Or, like when Marvel will do it and be like all new.
Nope. So
None of
all
that.
the same storyline.
Holy shit.
And so just to give you an idea, this not only does the overall storyline take place over tens of thousands of years, and through many eras and many planets and stuff like that, to have an ending in mind of this shenanigans back then and not be making it up on the fly is impressive.
Well, they had the ending and they said we'll make everything up
In between,
until we get there.
Right.
That's crazy. So you're going to cover all 30 or whatever.
Dude, so like there's
years.
time travel involved. So like our characters visit from Neanderthal times, or actually it's so crazy. So like the main characters are actually aliens
All
that came to Earth because they overpopulated their planet. They were searching for a place.
Dummies.
Not even Earth. It's not Earth. They came to a planet with 2 moons that was a lot like Earth. They came to the planet. They adjusted because they had seen humans were already here. They saw what they had depicted like angels and fairies and stuff, and they copied that. So these aliens copied what fairies look like, and the fairies look like this. So like crazy anime people with giant eyes and extremely
Crazy
voluptuous bodies, and like it's hot. Like they're hot, dude. And that's how she portrays them. Like they're wearing like no clothes.
Yeah,
the men, the women, elves. It doesn't matter.
Nice.
They don't really wear clothes.
It's awesome.
They're all kind of a little, not a little, quite androgynous. So like whenever from afar,
they use their right and left hand.
Exactly. I didn't know if you knew what that meant.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I
So
know
from
shit.
afar, you could not tell the difference between one or the other.
Right.
Their hairstyles are based. All the hairstyles in this are. Came out in the 90s, and the hairstyles are 80s, 90s hairstyles, like feathered out,
feathers,
like huge puffy hair. So the men and the women
got some Arkansas waterfalls.
Yeah, the
in
men
there.
and the women elves kind of have like roughly the same.
Oh yeah, it works for some though. It
same
works for
deal.
that one.
Yeah. No,
elf.
So it's hard to say. Like,
so the elves are aliens.
yes, these elves are descendants of aliens that came from another planet.
Okay.
So they have like, oh my god, it's so much. So I'm kind of just mixing in publication and the lore together. So I'm just gonna actually just quickly finish up the publication stuff real quick, and then just jump into the lore. So they friggin' did really well as their own company. And they kept going with that.
Obviously,
they in the 90s they started publishing like a bunch of different storylines at the same time, which is what I have, is one of the storylines I have.
Okay.
And the storyline I have is kind of like an anthology book, but with the same characters. So it's rando
like you said,
stories.
the in-between.
Yeah, it's rando stories of these characters that,
so when
that
this
weren't
character
in the
was
main
gone
story.
during this story,
They're
this
filling
is what
in
they're
little
doing.
gaps.
Yep. Okay.
Exactly. So that's what I have. So in the 90s, they started doing that. They had like 5 or 6 publications going at once. And then the 90s, the comic death, like death of comics in the 90s, they had to consolidate. So they put a bunch of their storylines into one magazine and released it 3 or 4 times a year.
So it was Elfquest, blah blah blah.
Subtitles, sort of,
Yeah.
and for the longest time they were separate titles, and then in
but
the
all
90s,
still the same story.
Yeah,
So
overlapping
separate
storylines.
titles. Wow.
Overlapping storylines. So they just combined them into one magazine, and they would probably call it a magazine because it was magazine size, and it was 64 pages.
Oh damn.
So
Okay.
like that's fucking massive.
Yeah, that's
for a comic book or whatever, you know. But it was like that's because they were still trying to do like concurrent storylines,
Right.
So that they needed that much space to
because
tell their
normally
stories.
a paperback might be like 128, like a graphic novel.
Yeah, graphic novel, exactly.
But to do it, that's crazy.
But like 4 times a year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's
multiple
crazy.
times.
And the lady originally, Wendy was doing every art and writing everything until like the 90s when they brought on new writers and new artists to help her lighten her load.
So there's some hustlers.
So,
there.
but these stories that I have right now were being concurrently published with stories not written by Wendy. These were written by Wendy, the creator. They were also at the exact same time publishing stories not written by Wendy. So they make a big deal on the book I have saying
that.
written by all new stories by Wendy, blah, 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 blah. So it's all done by her and her art. So the other artists
her husband's name is Dick Peeney.
Yeah, the art in this was like all done by her, and it's all really well done.
No, it looks crazy from here.
It's really well done. I don't like the character designs. That's
you want to do our
how are the faces?
Yeah, this is our segment. How are the faces?
So human faces. I would say I like the human faces quite a bit.
Very distinct.
No, these are the human faces.
Oh,
so less
okay.
distinct than the troll, not troll, than the elves. So
Not
the
as
elves are the
crazy.
ones that look like this.
Yeah.
Those are elves, and what I showed you were people. So the elves' faces look like a fantasy elf from back
Yep.
in the day,
Like
70s
the heavy
version.
metal.
Yeah, a 70s version of what a fantasy elf looks like.
Mm-hmm.
The humans look like humans. The fantasy elves, they all kind of No, they have some differentiation between them. There's like different tribes and stuff, and when you go from one tribe to the next, you could be like, oh, okay, I see the difference between the tribes. But they all have giant anime eyes and they like pointed ears and stuff. I don't like the way they're executed. The designs are executed, but the human faces, I do like the way they were executed.
I could tell the difference.
And like these, these are really, look at that guy. That's amazing.
Those are two really good shots right there.
Amazing.
Is that a dude?
Yeah. That's the main character of the
and then the
story.
rugged gentleman up there.
Yeah. So, the faces are cool.
Okay, that was our segment.
Sorry. Real quick wrap up. I don't like the character designs of the elf faces, but they're still well done.
Yeah, you recognize the talent, but it's just not your steez there.
Yeah, exactly. So that was How Were the Faces.
All right, that was our segment. How Were the Faces.
All right. So they actually eventually had another. What was the other company? How am I not seeing this? Was it IDW or
Dark Horse?
Dark Horse.
So this is the only thing I know about.
Yeah. So eventually they finished in Dark Horse, I think, in Final Quest started in 2018, and it finished 40 years after. Yeah, that was the Dark Horse.
So what is this book under?
This is Warp, their own publication.
So they were Dark Horse, Warp,
and I think something else, but
Marvel and DC.
Yeah, that's right.
They were Marvel, DC,
I wrote
Dark
it down.
Horse.
Hold on, I have it written.
That's the only thing I know about them.
Yeah. They went. Warp Graphics started in 1978, and then from there they went to Marvel, and then from there they went to DC, and then they went to Dark Horse, and they finished at Dark Horse.
They fucking been to everywhere.
And the main story arc, which is 70 issues or whatever. The 70 issues or whatever. It was released over a huge period of time, from the 78 to 2018. So the main storyline was only released every chunk of time. So some of these Marvel and DC, they're basically only reprinting.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they went through so many,
Damn.
and they didn't have that many issues. So there was all these side issues. So this Elfquest, The Hidden Years, wouldn't count for those main story issues.
You said there's only 70 issues?
In the very main story arc.
Okay.
Yes, something like that.
Weird. When there's probably hundreds of issues with all the other storylines.
Oh, by a lot. Yeah.
Hundreds. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could condense it and say this is all you need to know.
The really main storyline.
This is the main canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's when you have to do that for your fucking book, because, hey, we have hundreds and hundreds of issues. Yeah, it's all the same story.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, so they also released everything that had been released from 2014 and before for free on their website.
Cool.
So all the issues, you can go directly to the website. Anything released before 2014, they have for free.
I'm going to go read all 700.
Amazing, which is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so dope. And so that's pretty much all the backstory type stuff. Not backstory, all the like publication type stuff. So now I'm going to tell you a quick story that is in the comic that I have, The Hidden Years.
Gather round, kids.
Yeah. So there's 5 stories in here, I guess it said. There's 5 stories. They kind of take place with pretty much the same group of characters for the most part, but they're all, like I said, kind of side stories. So one of our group of characters, or one of the groups of elves, there are 4 different clans, is the Wolf Clan. Okay. They like live with wolves. They have society runs kind of like wolves.
They marry them?
No, they marry each other, but their wolves marry each other and whatnot. And
that's cute.
Whatnot. And so, they're like pair bonded with a wolf.
Oh.
So like they kind of almost get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're pair bonded.
I like this.
And so one of them's kind of just out like hunting, looking for squirrels, whatever. And she runs across a human baby. It's just on the ground in the rain and mud. It's still got it's a boy, and it's got its umbilical cord attached still. Oh, wow. So she's like, what the fuck happened here? Humans are pretty good about not dropping their babies.
Their babies?
So that's weird. Obviously,
who left this baby?
Obviously, something bad happened, and they had to run away, and I'm going to help them and return their baby. Okay. So she uses her badass elf skills and her wolf smell skills, and they track back the scent of where the baby's from. They find a village with a rock wall and spikes. So at this point, they're, I would say, like Paleolithic period, like caveman type stuff, pretty much.
Okay, so
early
no technology.
early human technology. So they have a rock wall with like metal, not metal, with wood spikes out of it around their town. So they know how to like.
What does the world look like? Like Paleolithic, like you said. So
everybody's pretty much hunter gatherers except for some of the elves because they're from like space and shit. So like the space elves that still remember that they're from space, they have a special castle that's like a main focus of this whole story. It's a spaceship from where they came from. They inherited it basically.
Okay.
And some of these space elves are immortal. A lot of the elves that are part of the tribes on this planet, they are not immortal. They live and die like normal.
Okay.
Not normal, but longer. But
so some technology on the ship that does it or something.
They went back to their planet and their powers got unlocked. I didn't want to.
This is the crazy lore you were talking about.
So they went. Some of them drove a ship all the way back to the planet they came from. It unlocked their telekinesis and all these. Immortality and all these crazy skills through like magic or some shit. It's fucking insane. And then it came all the way back to this planet. It's called like the humans call it like Adobe or something.
And they're like descendants of them, and then the
people that are on that planet, the elves that are there. So the elves brought with them insectoid species and goblins, and both of those live in this world a little bit as well. Goblins are like goblins. They live underground. Oh yeah, our elves don't really like the sun either. They can be out in the sun, but they just overheat like super fast. And if you're not used to it, then they like, I don't know, not die, but like get hurt from it.
Yeah.
So like the ones that
like Irish people,
the elves that live in the desert are like darker skinned. So like they're more used to the sun and can be out a little bit more. But it's very important to have shelters for the day. Like all the elves either live like in like caves or badass houses they build, something really good to keep the sun off of.
Right. Okay.
So
got it.
So all the elves are whatever. So these are the hound elves that she brings the baby back to the humans.
Right.
The human village. She sneaks in the human village, puts the baby on the parents' roof, on the roof of that she could smell and tell it was the right parents.
Yeah.
Put the baby on the roof and bolted. And a couple days later, she comes back to the area and she comes onto a scene or hears the baby crying again.
What?
And she walks around the corner and the baby is strapped to a tree. And the mom is about to stab the baby to death.
Oh, that's the human mom.
Yeah, the human mom and the human father.
Oh, what the hell?
And like, her husband like stops her. Her husband like stops her, and they just leave the baby. Which it is more inhumane to leave something hanging on a tree to die slowly than it would be to put it out of its misery. So if anybody, that's just a good rule for life. Don't let anything suffer. So they just leave the baby and walk away. So our badass elf chick is like, no. So she comes and saves the baby. She brings it back, and she convinces she's like known as hard-headed. She so everybody just kind of lets her be because they're not really supposed to deal with humans at all. They're supposed to be secret.
She's at her own camp.
Yeah,
now?
She takes them back to the elf camp.
Okay,
and like convinces everybody pretty much to let her keep the baby. So at first they have the baby nursing with the wolves, which is fine. Like I get that; it makes sense. But look at this. Mother rubs my back till my own milk comes. So her mom rubs her back till she can produce milk, and then she feeds the baby.
Oh, that's just elf shit.
That's what I was like. That's when I knew I was like, this is a few issues in, but I was like, oh, I'm deep in it. Like, this is some crazy shit. Like they'd already been using all these words that I had no idea what they meant, and so like this story's good. I picked this one because it was cool.
Right.
This is a good story out of it. So it does a cool montage of a few pages of him growing up and being taught by all the elves.
Oh, hell yeah.
Each elf has their own specialty and their own knowledge, and they basically all share it with this kid. Usually they all kind of do like an apprenticeship with one person, so they kind of learn the skills of the one elf. Well, he got taught all their skills.
Oh, nice.
So he had some disadvantages over them in some ways, but in other ways he had advantages over the elves.
Are they more like agile or
They're
stronger?
quicker. They jump through the trees really
Standard
well.
Elf shit.
And but he's obviously really good at pulling a bow back and
Right.
doing like very heavy physical stuff and whatnot.
Cool.
And he gets taught how to survive from all of them, all the different techniques. And so he grows up. He's like a preteen for the montage, and then we get him as like a teen for like the rest, or a big chunk of it. He's a teen. Now he's starting to look at the hot female elves and be like, damn, those are hot female elves. He's getting gangly and strong and kind of beating up his friends that his friends used to beat him up.
Right.
He can no longer swing through the trees like he used to because he's all gangly and tall and stuff. And so they kind of give him the option. They're like, yeah, you can go back to the humans. 100% you can go back. You can't let them know we exist at all. And if you go back, you're not allowed to come back here. So if you give this place up, you have to go there and stay. If you stay here, you have to like run by our rules, which I think was kind of implying that he couldn't get with any of the. He wasn't supposed to get with any of the
can't
fairy
smash some
chicks.
no elves.
Yeah, and then like some other elf or fairy, or I think they're fairies or something, does bang him, and and it says, but in so like she writes very like poetically.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually made a bunch of books of prose, like poems and stuff, about like based in this universe. So she's very flowery with her like words and stuff. So like, so I'll just read the two. It so happens Abori was once curious with the kept humans of Blue Mountain. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But in the picture, you can see our character like holding hands with a unknown fairy elf chick, whatever it is.
Right on.
And then it said, but in all intended gentleness, she's forgotten. Our blood song is pitched much higher than they can bear. It goes badly. What the? What?
So he was.
So many made up words, and then like concepts that I have no concept of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, when I read this, I was like, what?
So when she started moaning, it got too loud.
So it's a metaphor.
Yeah,
So
right.
like,
No, I
what,
know.
they banged too hard or something? Like, I don't know.
It's too good.
Something. He like running away crying.
Wait, let me see this.
Yeah. Check it out.
Let me see this. Because this has happened to me before.
It is based on true events.
She forgotten our blood song is pitched much higher than they can bear.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Blood song is making me like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there's
So-
made up words that I have no idea what they mean.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that part which makes him. That's like the straw that broke the camel's back.
So he can't bang elves and fairies.
Yeah, so he's
Got
like,
it.
I'm going to go to humans.
Right.
So he goes to the human outpost. He walks up, and they instantly start throwing stones at him. They don't know who he is. They've never seen him before. And, I forgot to mention, he's got a giant birthmark over his right eye. And they don't really mention it except for once when he was a baby.
Yeah.
And then, like, here, he realizes that the humans aren't going to accept him, which also means he can't go back to the elves, so he's about to kill himself. He's actually a lot of this is like heavy.
Right. Seems
A
like
lot
it.
of it's heavy. And then one of his elf friends was hiding in the trees, and they had taught him whistles, like danger whistles, and they whistled stop whenever he was about to kill himself. So he did. He didn't kill himself. He decided better than that. So what he did was he killed like a bunch of deer and dragged them up to the human camp and was like, here. And they took the thing, and then the chief at least was nice enough to basically explain why he's not allowed. So he pointed to the birthmark on his face.
Oh,
so the
okay.
chief was and only one guy throws rocks this time. So it's basically showing from the first time everybody basically tried to kill him. This time when he brought them deer, they still were not going to let him in, but they explained why he wasn't allowed in, and only one guy made him run away. You know what I mean? So they're like already kind of softening to him. He goes to a river and finally realizes he has a birthmark. He did not know until
They probably
this point.
didn't have mirrors.
Oh, that's exactly. There he looks in the river. That's the only way he.
Gotta
And nobody in
water,
the
though.
elves weren't gonna say, "Oh, you have a birthmark." Oh, they called him Strawberry Patch. They literally his name was Strawberry Patch.
Yeah,
My
how's
bad. His name was making fun of his birthmark. So even
What?
the elves were kind of dicks about it. I was about to be like, the elves were really nice. They literally named him Strawberry Patch. Never mind.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So his name's Strawberry
Yo,
Patch.
what up, SP?
Yeah. So he realizes, oh, they don't want me because of this thing on my face. So he starts showing up with like 20 deer.
Damn.
And like dogs and like all sorts of shit that they would hunt. And he was smart, and he rubbed red berry juice all over his face, like to put like a full face mask of paint on his face, all red. And they still were chasing him off, but you can see the like approval basically of the chief. He's like, damn, this guy's badass. So what he did, he kept being so badass and so sweet to everyone. He learned their language really fast. He was sweet to everybody. He had all these awesome elf skills. He basically was too nice for them to not accept him. He basically charmed the pants off of well, nobody's wearing pants, but he charmed the loincloths off of everybody. Nice. Like, even people that were like, that guy's evil, were eventually like, yeah, letting him live in town.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. He's like, he hunts like better than any of that. Like, he's very nice. Like, all that, he learned our language in like a year, and of course he gets a chick. Nice. And he's like, I want to marry this chick.
Go strawberry.
And he's still walking around with his red face mask at this point. Right. And they show that she will lets him wash it off, and they like make out and do stuff whenever they're away from people. She likes his face as it is, basically. And so he's like, I want to marry this chick. And they're like, I don't know about that. We'll accept you, but I don't know if we'll let you marry one of ours. They're like, well, you got to do something. So he cuts his birthmark off his face. It's not like a small birthmark. It's a lot. They don't really show it, but it's a lot.
Damn.
So they finally accept him, and his elf, like, godmother, his godmother shows up and is crying with happiness because she sees that he's been accepted all the way. So she's really happy for him. So she kind of takes off and like reminisces on how much she loved Patch. They call him Patch for short. Nice. They love Patch and how good he's doing now and blah, blah, blah. So we get a cool montage of Patch living his best effing life and becoming the chieftain and having a ton of freaking kids and basically just running shit all the way till he was like an elderly dude.
Oh, nice. Old
like
man
old. Like Paleolithic times, he looks like he's 70 or something.
Yeah, he's probably like 48.
Yeah, he just looks like that. Exactly. But so at the end, he kind of starts like slipping a little bit and starts telling stories about the elves and stuff to his grandkids. I think he's got grandkids before he dies. Yeah. They say he started losing it. Yeah. Like an old wolf who snaps at dreams. That's like how they compare him. So he's really old, basically about to be put out to pasture, and they're having to watch him because he's crazy. Like, make sure he doesn't hurt himself. So in the night, he sneaks out and he runs back to the hiding place of the elves. He wants to see him before he dies, basically. They live within a giant briar patch that surrounds them, so people don't easily get in. Right. He forgot about it. He fell into it, and he started yelling in Elvish to come help him. He wants to see her before he dies, whatever. And they have to tell him to shut up because the humans are coming up behind him. And if they find out that the elves are there, they're ruined, whatever. So he shuts up. And his relatives tie him up and leave him for the wolves, is what they said. So they're not trying to be mean or evil, but he's obviously crazy. In their eyes, he ran away and hurt himself. He's ready to die. Yeah. So they're not. His family's not trying to be dicks. That's what they would do at the time. Right. It's like putting somebody out of their misery, just like I was talking about earlier. It's better than letting them suffer, basically. Right. And so, like, that gives them opportunity for his elf family to come up and say goodbye and talk to him before he actually passes. So, like, the elves live, like, even the regular elves that aren't immortal live a long freaking time. Like hundreds of years, I think. So hundreds of years at least. So, like, he gets to say bye to his mom, and it's, like, actually really touching. And then on the last page, they see all the elves kind of sitting around thinking about how awesome he was and whatnot, and how short their lives are, humans' lives are, and whatnot. So that's one of the 5 stories.
Oh, that wasn't bad, dude.
So
that was a cool little story.
If you're trying to read it, you have this particular. If you're trying to read it and you have zero knowledge of Elfquest before this, you need like a dictionary, Elfquest dictionary first of all, and just a lore book. Like if they had like a 2-page lore dump at the beginning of this that I didn't have to go online to find and figure out, it would be so helpful.
So that seemed like one you don't have to know too much to read.
No, so and there was one where you didn't have to know anything. I could have read that one. Actually, I'll tell you that one just instantly. So there's the Wolf Riders. One of the Wolf Riders, Wolf, challenges the Alpha Wolf to supremacy, to be Alpha. He gets beat up and has to leave, which the Wolf Rider and the Wolf are like pair bonded. Right. So when the Wolf gets kicked out, it has to leave. It could just kind of mostly go live like just with its elf partner, like away from the rest of the wolves, like in disgrace basically. Yeah. But it chooses to leave. It chooses to run away. And normally when that happens, that's not crazy. That's not unusual. When that happens, the Wolf Rider just stays and gets a new cub and starts a new, because they're elves. They live freaking ever, and wolves only live a few years. So they have 800 wolves in their lifetime or whatever. Not that many. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot. And so our elf was didn't want to do that. He wanted to go be with his wolf. He's like, we'll go be alone together. I'll live the rest of his life because it's a few years. Yeah. I'll go live a few years and then go back. It's nothing. Yeah, it was like nothing. So he's following it, and the wolf doesn't want him to follow. These wolves are a little smarter than regular wolves. Not a lot. They're still animals, but they're smarter. It's like, no, it kind of like sees him and like runs. It wants him to know that it doesn't want to be with him or whatever. So he's following it, and our wolf is kind of just drinking from a stream, and a rabid dog comes out. It shows that it's a dog because its ears are floppy, and it has a rope around its neck, and it's different. You can tell it's a dog. The dog attacks the wolf and gives it rabies. So now our guy's dog has rabies, and our guy is still following it, doesn't know it has, sees that the wolf kills that dog that had rabies. So our guy is following it, so he finds that dog dead with rabies, and he's like, oh crap, I think my dog has rabies or whatever. So my wolf still might have rabies. Finally kind of corners it and is like trying to get it, and it does have rabies, and it bites him. So he's like strong enough where he like wraps its mouth up and ties it up and puts it on like a stretcher, because the elves are known for healing. Oh, no shit. Okay. So that's why the ones that aren't immortal live for a really long time, because they can heal. Damn. Like heal themselves. No, they have to heal. They can't. That's the one. They can't heal themselves or something. Okay. So like when they're hurt, they have to wait for other people that can heal them or something. Or maybe they have to be a trained healer. There's so much lore, I don't know. Right. So he is dragging his wolf towards the healing the castle or whatever, and he like falls down and like passes out close to it. They find him. They bring him to the castle. It was cool. The elf guy lived, and the wolf lived too, and they went back to the pack, and he got accepted in the pack. And I was like, that's weird, because he just got kicked out or whatever. He didn't challenge the alpha so he's again? Not going to challenge Alpha again or something. But that was another cool story. And the point of me telling that story is there was like maybe 15 speech bubbles in that. Most of the whole thing was just... So you didn't need to know shit. Yeah, most of the whole thing was just cool art of a chase, basically, and it's wolf and stuff. So that one, if you knew nothing about Elfquest, you could hop into that one and probably really enjoy it and be like, this is a cool story.
I still know nothing about Elfquest.
So I had the Wikipedia thing pulled up. I was going to get into it and get real specific, but I'm not going to. That's going to take another hour. Yeah. So I'm going to hit some high points. Like I said, I mentioned that the elves are from another planet. Right. They a bunch of them left that planet in ships. They got to this planet. It's got 2 moons, so they call it Adobe or something with 2 moons. Just call it 2 moons. They get to this planet, and when they get there, the human population is at like medieval level of time. Nice. So what they see the castles that are important. They're like, this is the center of their world is the castle. So they turn their ship into, makes it look like a big like castle. Right. So they're like about to go down and hang out and like chill with these people, and then some crazy magic shenanigans happen, and then they get shot back into Paleolithic time on the same planet. So now they're in where most of these stories that I'm talking about are taking place. So the The elves are like from before, but they keep getting transferred back. And then this is the Paleolithic time, so some of them get like stuck here, and they become the 4 separate elf clans. And then there's the castle elf clans that go back and get more powers. And it talks about how there's the insectoid aliens they brought from them, and the troll aliens they brought with them.
Yeah.
Humans are from our planet, and these elves did not look exactly like elves. They were humanoid, but they didn't look like that really. They used human art and depictions of angels.
I was going to ask, so like,
whatever.
Did eventually they start breeding and then like became that?
So like they
evolved?
changed their whole like being to look like that, to adapt to the planet.
Right.
So it's not just the first ones didn't make a physical like look change. They like adapted to the planet. So all their genes and stuff, got passed down.
Okay, so now when they have babies,
elves,
it's that.
Elves have 4 fingers. They don't have a pinky.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a normal hand but without a pinky, basically. And
well, they just get the fingers wrong? Why?
I don't know why that part was
okay,
changed.
Yeah.
No clue. But so we get the separation between the elves that stayed here, the elves that went back and came back. They called them the Leavers or something. Like, it's crazy. Freaking crazy. And so, like I said, they get jumped around to the Paleolithic, and they start, like, they try not to interact with humans. But as you saw, they interact with humans every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And then throughout this timeline, the more they interacted with humans, because they had like their own kind of technology and stuff, the humans got like boosted by the elf technology and whatnot, and the elf learning and whatnot. So some of the storyline that takes place in the main storyline is in like this world's far future. Like, I don't remember how long it said.
I was about to ask, where else have they jumped around to?
So how many thousands of years? It was like a 10,000 year.
So some of them do make it to the medieval shit eventually?
Yeah, so they go through time. Like,
okay.
Naturally, some of them go through time, and the other ones are on the ship sleeping, basically. Mm-hmm. So they don't travel. They feel like it's been no time, where there's been tons of generations of the other ones.
Yeah.
So like the whole world, like I said, is like split up to 4 different elf clans, main elf clans, and then also the castle elves that kind of deal with all the elf clans. And then you got all the humans, you got the trolls, you got the insectoids, you got like bird people that like eventually they're like elves originally, but they like transform into like a bat. I wouldn't even say bird, more like a bat. Wow. It's just buck wild. And then a bunch of the stories
50 years of
happen in like from the time of the like medieval stuff. It had to be like 1,000 years from then. So humans are colonizing other planets in this same storyline. This fantasy story that I'm talking about also takes place in the future, where humans have colonized a bunch of other planets, and elves are basically extinct at this point. They're like basically no longer around. So there's only a tiny bit of elves left in this crazy future where humans have colonized.
There's like someone at Warp Comics being like, "Hey, I got an idea for this other comic. We should do this, and humans are we'll put it in Elfquest."
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's a total separate idea. No, we'll put it in Elfquest.
Yep.
They'll travel to the future and see all that bullshit you were just talking about, but it'll be Elfquest.
Yeah.
And like, why won't you let us start our own comics?
But
Elfquest.
This is the same series where the lady figured out the ending already.
Yeah.
So like all this shit was kind of planned. But it's fucking buck
like
wild.
One Piece. That dude knows exactly how One Piece is gonna
end. Yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna do a fucking 1,200 episodes before I get to it, though.
So basically, in summary, I guess I would say this. Oh, okay. So let me just name off some other.
Done. That's it.
Yeah, screw you. There's a few other things. So they released 5 books, just novels that are related to this.
Oh, like not comic, just
not
actual
comics,
novels.
Actual novels,
wow.
Full novels. And 3 novels and 5 anthology books. So 3 full novels and 5 books of like anthology stories. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of short stories in that. They also made a album. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in the genre of filk. I don't know if you've ever heard of the genre filk.
I haven't heard of filk.
So filk is specific to
what the filk
fantasy, science fiction, and mostly fantasy, where they use folk songs in it to like talk about fantasy stuff, and like it's done kind of like a folk music, but it's all about sci-fi stuff or like fantasy stuff.
Weird.
So kind of like a bardcore, like you were just mentioning
Yeah.
earlier. I didn't want to get into it. You mentioned that earlier.
Right.
But it's almost like a bardcore.
So like the songs in Skyrim you hear?
Yeah.
Would be
That
those?
in the taverns?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
That's
But
folk
more
music?
more modern than that.
Okay.
With like modern instruments. So like kind of the same idea, but with
So
modern
there's folk
instruments.
bands out there right now,
Yes,
right?
there is.
Okay.
So that Filk is not exclusive to
this Elfquest?
Elfquest. Filk is a whole genre unto itself that started in the 50s.
Oh wow, no, I played a folk festival at one point.
So like I said, so my roundup, Elfquest is insanely vast,
Yeah.
insanely lore heavy, insanely produced by one lady. Like, meaning like her vision is carried across all the other writers and all the other artists.
Which is crazy.
Because she's always maintained full control
Yeah.
of the title.
So nothing went in there.
So there's like sexy time stuff in there that's like, a little weird and like, just not weird. Just it was weird for it being a comic.
Right.
It was not weird in life. It was just funny
So
to see in a
literally
comic.
any idea she has, she can just
She was
do it.
free to do it exactly how she wanted. She did the art how she wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
They released it very sporadically, which gave her time to make these like art pieces basically all by herself. Like full page spreads that look like she spent a hell of amount of time.
Yeah,
on
no,
it.
it is very talented.
Yeah,
you can
it's
tell,
crazy
for
bright
sure.
colors.
Cherubic.
Yes, she's extremely talented, and like I said, the one thing I could say I don't like her the character design of the elves. That's it.
Right.
Besides that,
You
I
think
love
they
the bright
change
colors.
book to book? You think you just got these, so like
So
this is where her
this
style
is her
is?
style is, and even the other artists across whenever they had during this period, actually during the warp period, they had to do basically her style.
Right.
They were like required
Oh, so
to
it's
do her
probably
style.
always
So they all
somewhat
look
close.
basically the same.
That's
Yeah.
very consistent. There are people out there who would be like very intrigued by something like this because they love to do that. So this is an outlet for them that they probably didn't know about.
You
So,
could like Abed running out of a comic and then needing a new comic,
Yeah.
like instead of a show. It's kind of like that where like it's definitely not super popular. It's got its own cult following and it's got a
Right.
good bit of material.
a lot of material.
And I
seems
said,
like
I said 70. It's not even. I said 70 issues. One of the runs was 70 issues, not the whole. Fucking
I
thing.
figured that's what you meant.
Yeah, because there was a lot.
I was like, they were releasing very slow.
Yeah,
if it was 70
yeah.
issues
No,
total.
they were slow. It was slow, but no, yeah. Let me look it up.
Well, you said hundreds of issues.
Yeah,
so
it was.
throughout all the titles.
Yeah,
so.
it was. Oh, I'm thinking of a different one. Okay, yeah. So it's awesome if you want to jump into something that's lore heavy and got a mixed media, meaning got comics, you've got the books.
Right.
Yeah, they've tried to make movies forever. Apparently, this year they announced that Fox is making a 1 hour. They made it very clear that it was an adult animation.
Oh.
I wanted because
Of Elfquest?
of Elfquest.
Oh.
There's been when I was looking it up. There's been like 4 or 5 other times. Either there's
They've
supposed
tried.
to be a movie or there's supposed to be a show.
We'll have a flipping
Not
pages
once.
watching party.
Not once have they gotten it done. No, not. Fan films and stuff have been done that they support. Like when a person does like a cool little short fan film, they always support it on their Instagram or whatever. They promote it. They let the fan use some of their like original art and stuff.
Nice.
So these people seem like they're really cool people.
And they
They've
love
been in
their
it-
art.
They've been in it from 78.
Yeah, that's
Heavy
crazy.
duty from 78 till
Good
now.
on ya.
And they're still releasing stuff now. I said it ended. The main story arc ended in 2018. They are currently putting out
New story arc?
New stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that'll last for another 50 years.
Yeah. Probably. So this shit was dope.
Nice, man. All right, man. So I got Z. I thought, like you said, it was going to be difficult. Everything zombie.
Yeah.
Everything.
You showed me
Fucking
the zombie
everything.
list. Yeah.
It was crazy. Zorro.
Yes.
A lot of Zorro.
Whenever I looked up was looking for Z at half price, they had like 5 different Zorro series.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking Zorro.
So many from
I had no idea.
20s or something till now.
No, not that.
It's
early.
it's close because
No,
it
it was
had
like-
its own comic strip.
It's like, yeah. Oh, okay. So maybe I was just seeing comics.
Yeah,
But
so
no,
like,
they're definitely old, and they're still fucking cranking them out. So anyway, though, I found one called Zed, Z-E-D-Z, A Cosmic Tale.
yeah.
Now, this is a Mikhail Gagny.
Okay, Gagne.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the little
Well, yeah,
on,
little
above the E.
accent
I believe
mark.
he's French. He's a French fella. And you know how I feel about the French. No, I'm just kidding. Don't have nothing.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna be
it's
like, what would you feel?
No,
about the
nothing
French?
at all. I've
Not
never
much.
even been to France, so I have no room to talk. No, it was just stupid. Anyway, so this is an Image comic, and the year is I don't know. I didn't look that
Well,
up
I'm
for
glad
you.
I didn't do an Image comic as well.
Why not? I mean, they're fucking
Because we
everywhere.
do them a lot.
You do them a lot.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've done more. I've done 1 or 2, I believe.
Oh, I've done like 5.
Yeah, you
at
have.
least, yeah.
I think you've done like 3 in a row before, or 2
Yeah.
in a row.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that till today when I was doing my pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is Image.
Yeah.
So, dude, the art in it is crazy because it looks so cute and just bubbly and goofy, and you think like this is a kid's comic.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought when I was like, ah, fuck. Because there's a graphic novel. It's like 3 books. It's broken into like, fuck, what was it? Like 11, 12 chapters, possibly 16, 18. A lot of chapters. It had a full story, nothing after or before. And it was great, man. Like, I loved it. The art, like I said, was really bubbly. And then it trips you out because it's not a kid's
Yeah.
story and it's not cute and bubbly.
Right.
So this is what the main character looks like. Just a little tiny little
Yeah, I've
fella.
seen the cover.
Adorable. Just eyes and a little line for a mouth.
Super simple.
Super simple. He's adorable. He's like the size of probably like to the middle of my shin. He's a little guy.
Right.
He's adorable. So this, the beginning of the comic, it takes place on this Xandria. It's like the hub of the universe. Basically everything is there. Economics, religion, entertainment. I mean, they have the capital city for the tourist. There is the giant atrium where like a treaty was signed back in the day. They're like, hey, let's be friends. And it was like, okay, sounds great.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of goofy shit like that. There's the city of muscles, which is like athletes, competition after competition, gladiatorial shit. What else? There's fine art district, dude, just everything, literally everything. So they're having this big convention for like scientists and inventors.
Right.
And I mean, everyone is there. It's broadcast to like a billion people. The world hierarchy is there. So all the other planets have emperors of the planet.
Okay.
And then they all assemble to a world hierarchy when shit goes down. So they're all there. Like, they're all there to see these new inventions. That everything's supposed to just benefit their world, right?
Right.
So the first up is this little dude named Maku, M-A-C-K-U. Now, he showcases this ship he built. And when he gets inside, there's like these connectors that connect to his face. And he's like, it's so intuitive. You're not even really controlling the ship. You're like, it is you. You are connected. So if you want to go right, it goes right. You're not even having to tell it to go right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super intuitive. So he like blasts off and like flies to another planet, comes back super quick. It's super fast and like crazy movement speed and everything. Everyone's like losing their shit. They're
Yeah.
like, this is insane. So they give him his flowers and they're like, before our second guest, we got to introduce this, and it's this band. These guys are great. They're called Krah. 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 So, like, they're all just these weird little simple black line characters.
Yeah.
Like, no definition to their faces at all. They're, like, almost stick figures. But they're like, let me see your hands, motherfuckers. Like, so they are just the coolest people on the planet. Like,
Yeah.
the whole world is basically in decision, like, these are the coolest dudes ever. They play the best metal, the best music. They're just the most awesome people ever, right? So anyway, we get to Zed. So they play a song. Everyone loses their shit. They get to Zed from planet Gallows. Now, what he's built is what he calls an energizer. So he's been powering his planet for 2 years. He had made this machine that takes rocks and turns them into batteries.
Oh, man.
So super, super badass. I mean, he's like, we've been running, heating, cooking everything off of rocks for the last 2 years. So he's like, I want to show you. And he grabs a rock and he turns his shit on and something starts happening and it starts fucking up. So on the stage, it starts exploding. Mm-hmm. So he gets in Maku's ship, it connects to him and he takes off. And as he's taking off, man, everything's destroyed. So the center where the convention is blows up. And then he lands and he's like, oh man, what have I done? But the explosion doesn't stop.
Keeps going.
It keeps going. So he jumps in Maku's ship and flies off, and the entire planet gets surrounded by the energy, hardens, and then explodes.
Holy shit.
He just killed billions and billions of people. They're all dead. His mom and dad were there, and they can telepathically communicate, and they're like, we love you. Ah! Everyone died. The band, everyone. Everyone on the planet is dead. So he's in Maku's ship freaking out. I mean, poor little guy, just crying his ass off. He goes back to Gallos to go holler at the Emperor and be like, what the fuck? What do I do?
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it. He's like, look at him. He's torn apart.
Oh, man. He's devastated.
He's like a kid
He's
throwing
crying
a tantrum.
so much, it's more than his body size.
And it's a puddle. He's in a puddle of tears. So they just feel sorry for him, right? They're just like, we'll figure out what to do, little guy. So they cut to this other planet, Metalia. And there's this guy there named Maxis. Now, he's pissed. He's like, the entire world hierarchy was there. And Zed from planet Gallos is there.
I forgot the hierarchy thing.
The Emperor for Gallos conveniently wasn't there because he was sick. This was a plan by Zed and the Emperor to kill the hierarchy so the Gallos Emperor can take over. So he's like, fuck that. He riles like everyone up into a frenzy and basically forms a giant fleet and is like, let's go. So they all roll out to Gallos. I mean, like thousands of ships. Now, he runs Metalia. He's not even the Emperor. Yeah. He's just like the chief army officer there, basically in charge of their defense. So back on Gallus, the Emperor's apostles are like chanting, trying to figure out some shit. He's locked in a room. The Emperor's trying to figure out what's going on, and Maxis is on his way. So he shows up. They put the shield up because this little, I don't know what you'd call him, little Emperor's right-hand man. Mm-hmm. He's like, he can sense the danger. He's like, put up the shield. So they put up this giant shield, and Maxis just rolls up, and immediately he gets on the TV and starts like, Zed, we're going to kill you. You killed billions of people. We're charging you with this.
Yeah.
So before Maxis gets there, the band shows up. Now, they're still alive. They show up, and they're like, what's up? My name is Joey T, and I believe that Zed is innocent. And they're like, how? And he's like, he goes into it. Basically, he saw someone fucking with his machine. And he thought it was weird, so he kind of kept his eye on it. And when it messed up, he was like, let's roll. So they hopped in their ship and they got out of there.
That's dope.
So Maxis is getting ready to board or land on Gallos to just fuck shit up. He has this group of dudes he calls the Butchering Four. And he's like, they haven't got to kill anyone for a while, so let me take them. So they roll through, they get through the planet's shield system, and they get down, and there's like ships everywhere waiting for him, and he just blasts them with like this weird lightning power he has.
Yeah.
It's through his ship, but he does it, and then he blasts like all the tanks on the ground. All explode. Damn, yeah. So like I said, it's not cartoony. There's billions of people that already died.
Actually down.
And Maxis is killing hundreds of people while he's at it. So he gets to the royal palace. And this is when, Joe E, J-O/E-Y from the metal band Craw, he starts telling him everything he saw. So he's like, we were able to get out of there. And while he's telling this, Maxis, the bad guy, breaks in.
Yeah.
So he starts fighting him. One of the Butchering Four takes over, like, tentacles in the Emperor and just rips him apart.
Oh, damn.
So he's dead. Now, while he's there, the guitarist for Craw fucking takes his giant axe guitar and kills this one guy. He, like, the one who killed the Emperor, one of the Butchering Four, smashes him with a guitar and kills him. Maxis gets pissed and, like, hits them with lightning. Big explosion. The right hand of the Emperor grabs Zed and runs out. So everyone in there is now dead. The band is dead. Zed's out of there. So Maxis jumps out the wall, starts chasing him. He kills the right-hand dude immediately.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to kill you, Zed. Now, I didn't mention it, but Zed has this little robot that follows him around at his home. It's called Bip.
Yeah.
And he just basically like, hey, you're getting a call, blah, 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 life, what is it, vital signs, shit like that. So,
Okay.
hey, we
Like
need to
an
be here at this.
assistant
Yes,
or
exactly.
whatever, yeah.
So he shows up and he electrocutes Maxis because Maxis has his hand around his throat, basically trying to kill Zed.
Right.
So he gets to his ship, Maku's ship, and as he's taking off, Maxis like breaks a part of his ship off. So he's flying away.
Like
and
big or something?
Well, yeah,
How is he
he's
able to break.
He's a little larger. The ship's not big at all because Maku and
Was a little
Zed
tiny fucker.
are both
Okay.
little
Yeah, I
dudes.
remember now. Okay.
Yeah, so he's a bit bigger, but he's able to manhandle the ship and like break a piece off. So he's
Right.
like, he tells all the fleet, he's like, hey, he's in that ship, kill him. So they just shoot like hundreds of missiles at him. So his little robot guy's like, we have to go to the dark planet. So it's this planet surrounded in just like darkness and vines and like evil plants, and it just looks all messed
looks
up and
bad.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets there and he's like, oh, we got away. I think we'll be okay. And then they just all find him and they all hit the ship and it fucking explodes. And it turns into a ball, like a big, heavy rock sphere. Lands on the ground and then you can see the shield come off and it starts to form. Well, it doesn't do that yet. It's just a ball. So it cuts to Zed, who's now like in limbo. And he meets his guardian angel, Zyd. Z-Y-D.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, I want to introduce you, or someone who wants to see you. So he sees his parents, and they're like, it's okay, Zed. He's like, oh, it sucks you're dead. And they're like, no, it's actually pretty fucking great here. Don't worry about it, dude. Like, it sucks there. You got to help those people. And they're like, I'll miss you. They're like, be brave, little dude. And then they bounce. So they get to this thing called Heaven's Gate. And he's like, you got to go through the purification bubble. He's like, but you're a pure little dude, so it shouldn't take long. So he does it, and he's like, that felt good. And he's like, Zyd, the guardian angel's like, I love the way it feels. So they go through, and he's straight up talking to God. Like, he straight up meets God, this guy. So he's like, welcome. He's like, dude, it's an honor to meet you. So he's like, I have some questions. So he says, who is Maxis? And he's the Minister of Defense and a major stockholder of Axon, the planet's largest fuel corporation. So he was definitely threatened by his Energizer thing. You can't
The
turn
rock
rocks
energy
to...
thing.
Yeah, because he would
Yeah.
lose so much money, and he was like, did he really feel threatened by my invention, and how could he justify killing billions? And he's like, he didn't anticipate the chain reaction. He only thought the machine was going to blow up and kill you.
Right.
Once it killed the hierarchy and the whole planet, he definitely used this moment to be like, he did this and turn everyone against you.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, you're like way stronger than you know, man. Trust me. Like, you've survived so much, you're gonna do this. So he's like, there's someone who wants to talk to you. And he meets Maku, the guy who made the ship.
Yeah.
So what he tells him is that he's having a near-death experience, right? So when his missiles hit the ship, Maka, that's what he calls the ship. So Maku and his ship is Maka.
Yeah.
So he said it protected you from the impact by reforming itself into an indestructible sphere. Even though you were hurt really badly, every bone and organ in your body was pulverized. But thanks to Maka's self-healing mechanism, you're being kept alive. It's a biologically engineered vehicle. When it heals itself, it also heals whoever's inside of it.
Nice.
So he's like, trust me, when you wake up, you'll be good. So Zed pops out of the ship, and Bip is there, and he's like, what's going on? He's like, you've been in a coma for 2 years.
Woo.
So they head back to Gallos, and now everything's like industrialized. Maxis got statues of himself everywhere. No. So Maxis is now working on his ultimate plan to build this ship called Titanus. And it's this giant, crazy, like spheres, guns, all types of shit all over it.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. So he's trying to build it, and he's like, hurry up. So he has DNA detectors everywhere. So instead of cameras, when you show up on one of his planets, it just reads your DNA sequence, and he goes, Zed's still alive. So, like, you can see his face. He's just totally over it. He's pissed.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck this little dude. So Zed goes to his uncle's house, And his uncle kind of breaks down what happened. He's like, after killing, the emperor and everything, he moved in with his robots and his giant machines and just took everything over. Like, he had been planning it for years, so no one was able to stop him at all. No one was strong enough. So the band Kra is still alive. They flew off and found their own planet and just started playing nightly shows for their fans.
Yeah.
And their fans just live there.
For the planet. Yeah.
Yep, just that's the planet. It's the Brotherhood of Metal. So that's what they do. So now he knows Zed is on Gallows. He attacks. He sends his ship. Now he's not there. He has a little FaceTime device that pops up. And he's like, he starts talking shit. Like, I'm going to kill you. Just starts relentlessly blasting lasers at this little dude. Big knives coming out of the ship, just trying to destroy this guy. So he pulls out a cannon and it's about to shoot him and it blasts. And then you see Zed floating in the air. And he's like, what's happening? And he's like, Bip says, you're emitting the same cosmic energy that propels Maka. So he's like, oh, shit. So he sees the knives coming towards him and he's like, blast out. Uses his power and destroys all the knives. So he's basically flying cosmic energy now. He can use it, fly with it, destroy with it, all types of shit.
He's the Silver Surfer.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, dude. But could just fly. So in fighting this thing, it destroys in fighting the robot, before he destroys it, it takes like his uncle's arm off. So knowing what he knows of the ship, he sticks him in there.
Heals him.
He blasts the ship, and Bip's like, what are you doing? He's like, you have to hurt it. Yeah. It'll heal itself. It'll heal my uncle. So he takes off, and he's like, he goes to the city, starts telling everyone, all right, enough of this shit. Let's fucking take this over. So all the machines show up, and he just takes them out like nothing.
Nice.
So they're like, let's follow him. So basically 5 days of all the citizens and Zed fighting robots, the giant machines, everything there that belongs to Maxis. It took him 5 days to just destroy it all.
Damn.
So Maxis is pissed. He's like, fucking get my ship ready. Like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Now the band is like, dude, we heard they liberated Gallows. Like, let's take our fleet and let's go kick his fucking ass. So them and all their real quick, they're like, let's party tonight and then we'll go tomorrow. And they actually have groupies, which have these like giant metal titties. And one of them had 4 giant metal titties.
Nice.
Hilarious.
The more the better.
I didn't say that, like, I'll do How Are the Faces right now. This is our segment. How Are the Faces? The faces were good because there was not too many that were the same. Like Maxis and all those people are from Metalia. And there are just billions of people on billions of planets that none of them all look alike at all.
Huh.
So the art, I'll say for the art that it's great.
Yeah.
Some of it's bubbly, some of it's raw, gritty, and it's very funny. Like, I'm just telling the story, but there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of funny, panels and jokes and stuff that I'm not covering. But it is a really good, well-made book. The art in it is great. He actually has a section at the end where he talks about how his first panels were like less detailed, and he actually shows you how they get more detailed. So it's pretty neat. It shows you his little journey of drawing.
I like
this comic.
That's
right?
pretty cool.
So that was our segment. How Are the Faces? They're awesome. Art's incredible. So yeah, the band is like Brotherhood of Metal will roll out tomorrow. Oh, there it is. I took a picture of the groupies down there at the bottom right.
Oh man.
And they're just lined stick figures like the band with just giant, looks like metal titties.
Yeah.
So them and all their fans roll out the next day after a night of debauchery and fucking, I guess, whatever they do. And so Zed's there. He's like trying to set up government. This one funny part. They're like, you should be mayor. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. This dude says, hey, I used to be mayor. But you see the way he's drawn?
Yeah, he looks like a Ren and Stimpy bad guy.
He does. He's all hairy, like missing teeth.
A close-up on Ren and Stimpy.
Yes, the close-ups, yeah. He looks all goofy, so I thought that was pretty funny.
That's good.
So
he looks like Mr. Plankton on crack.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So before Maxis and Titanus is ready, the band and their fans attack. And they're actually doing well. Maxis pops out in his ship and they destroy it. Nice. So he's like, fuck yeah, like, they're going at it, and the band's like, hell yeah, take it to him, let's kill this dude. So they're like, Titanus is ready. So he gets in Titanus and destroys everything. They try to leave, and they blow it up, fucking destroy everything.
Yeah, the ship looked gnarly.
Band's dead, everything's blown up, and the only thing left is Titanus, right?
Yeah.
So the uncle gets out of his ship, and he's like flying around, and he's like, look what I could do. And he destroys a whole mountain, and he's like, shit. I didn't think it was going to be that strong. And he's like, you'll get used to your powers. So they call him in. They go to the main city, and they're like, there's something approaching on the fucking radar. Yeah, sorry. Fucking radar. And
fucking radar.
It's Maxis.
Yeah.
In his ship by himself. He don't even have a fleet. He's just like, I got this. They put the shield up. He blasted one shot, gets through. So now Maxis and Zed finally meet, and they do like a little power thing, but Zed fucking destroys him like immediately. Arm gone.
Damn.
Maxis is like shredded apart.
Was
dude.
he wearing like a power suit there or something?
That's some of his suit, and some of that's his body, because you can see his bones and shit sticking out. So like some of his face is missing. Cool. Very dope art, like I said. So cool. Before he dies, he tells his ship to release the syntax gas. So Zed's freaking out. He tries to get his uncle to like wrap it in a shield and try to get it off planet. It doesn't work. The ship the ship doesn't explode. The shield explodes. So this syntax gas is now going throughout the entire planet. Right. Everyone's dying. They're like their skin's all bubbling up.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's super raw, like gross. They're like dripping.
Yeah.
It's gross.
They're melting or something.
Like you remember Planet Terror?
Yes.
With those zombies? Yeah.
The drip drop zombies.
Yes, so gross. Nasty. So he calls Bip and he's like, take me to my ship. So he gets in his ship and he's like, I gotta hurt the ship so it heals. So he takes his ship, Maka, the ship, and he flies it into where the syntax gas is coming in. He flies it into Titanus.
Yeah, the big ass shit.
So now nothing happens. He goes into limbo again.
Oh, damn.
So he sees Zide and he goes through Heaven's Gate, does the bubble, and he's like, that felt good. And then he goes and sees God, and he's like, I'm dead this time, right? And he's like, listen, man, I got to break this down for you. He's like, so a long, long time ago, I dispersed my seeds of creation throughout the four corners of the dark matter. So when these seeds split, that's what develops a universe. So half of the seed landed on Akruna, which is found by Maku, and the other half landed on Metalia, which was found by Maxis. So this Maku's seed amplified his genius and helped him become like brilliant. Yeah. And it did the opposite for Maxis. It made him like angry and just obsessed with like arbitrary enemies. So he had no beef with anyone, but he just became this crazy warmonger. Right. So Titanus was made with the seed. So when he flew Maku into Titanus, it merged and became an original seed again. Oh, okay. With Zed in the middle. So Zed's like, I smell you, God. I got this. So he bounces, he opens the seed, and basically everything, Titanus explodes. Everything goes back to normal, man. The trees grow again. God damn. All the people, lack of a better word.
Stick figure things.
Everyone's fine. They come back to life. They lose all their boils. The band shows up in their ship and they're like, righteous dude, right on.
It like reset.
It reset the entire. Wow. Which the band didn't die. They made it off. They like say something like they were able to escape.
Nice. Hell yeah.
They did it.
That's even better.
Like 4 times throughout
the. They know when to bolt.
They
awesome. They know when to jet. That's for sure.
They were great. So he's like, I'm gonna hold a conference, tell everyone what happened. So, hey man, it's all fine. It's all good. And the band went back to their Brotherhood of Metal and started jamming for everyone.
Amazing ending.
And then,
this was the whole graphic novel, right?
That was it. That's the end.
Yes, dude, that's awesome.
So Zed's like, I just need to find another challenge now, and that was how it ended.
Something to do.
Dude, a fantastic book.
That's awesome.
I had a blast reading it.
That's so dope.
Very fun, very easy read. The art in it was fantastic. Yeah. If y'all find it, grab it, because that shit was tight.
It looked cool.
Yeah, it tricked me though. I was like, "Oh, this is a kid's book. Yeah, I know I got a kid." And then as soon as I saw people getting blown apart and stuff, I was like, "Oh, this."
Yeah, they do that now.
This is not a kid's book.
They'll kind of trick you.
That's just his art, and like I said, there's a lot of wacky stuff in it. So like that guy who wrote it was like, I'm gonna get wacky.
Yeah.
And that's the art style isn't as kiddie when you know it's more silly and wacky.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to like, oh, it's not children. This is supposed to be funny
It's
and
like
goofy
a slapstick world.
and crazy. Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense, right? All right, so you ready?
Yes, let's rumble.
All right, so this is our segment, Matt versus Adam, where we take a random character generator online and we see who would win between the guy or gal that we get. So we have Marvel, DC, video game, and cartoon characters, and a couple other silly ones, but no. In anime, we don't do that. That was bad. We're gonna try it again soon. We're gonna try it.
Yeah.
Oh, so the arena for this fight is a 2-block radius in downtown Houston.
Yeah.
People, and this is
Cars,
on-site fighting. They were
regular,
just out
yeah.
for the night, and these characters saw each other and had to fight to the death.
Yeah.
And we see what happens.
So no prep time or
no
nothing.
prep time, exactly. You wanted to do cartoon
Yeah, let's
characters?
just do cartoon characters. I got Homer.
Homer Simpson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I accidentally pushed it again and then got Stan Marsh. But I'm
All right.
Homer.
Yeah, no, I
Homer's
won't.
the first one.
I won't do you. So you're Homer.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, here we go.
Homer Simpson.
Let's see
who
who I
has
got.
actually a pretty crazy
Pretty
list of-
goddamn fucking invincible,
Yep.
honestly. I got Judy fucking Neutron.
No way. Let me see.
Judy Neutron.
Let me see. Judy Neutron.
That's-
Jimmy Neutron's mom.
That's Jimmy Neutron's mom.
Mom. Okay.
What the hell could she do? So it's just a
my
dude.
man is radioactive proof. He is fat, but the amount of calories he ingests should kill 40 people. He's fallen off basically like space and hit the ground and been fine. He, I don't know, basically is superhuman in almost
Yeah,
ways.
he has that protective thing around his brain.
That's right.
So yeah, he's pretty strong, man. So let me see here. I'm caring, loving, affectionate, stressed out, a bit irritable. There's like nothing here with powers.
Yeah, because she has none.
There's no powers like.
And the funny part is, like, oh, technically mine's not even like a hero in any way, shape, or form, but his list of feats is endless.
Oh yeah, insane. I
he
apparently
had
have a lot of.
He had a crayon in his brain for 40 years. or
That
whatever.
is my favorite Simpsons
And
episode.
they take it out, and he's a genius, right?
That is my favorite. One of my
That's a good
favorite,
one.
if not my favorite.
He has them put it back. That's so good.
Yeah, she goes.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand that how true that saying is.
Okay, so I got high intelligence
Oh, right.
in mechanics.
Right.
Yeah, my.
Oh, cool.
Right.
You got me now, dog.
Well,
You're good at Lego.
I got nothing.
You
I
got good Lego
nothing.
skills, and you're very kind.
Oh, hold up. Judy's transformation into Mighty Mom.
Oh.
So okay, we need to see Mighty Mom here.
Yeah, but
What?
no prep time, no
No,
nothing.
but
It's
if
just
if
yourself.
it's something she turns into, right?
Okay, look it up. I'm pretty sure she like has to do like it's either not real or she has to use like a potion or some shit.
Yeah, if it's just something she can do, then yeah, we'll look into that.
Okay.
Hold on. All right, so her one of her aliases Sugar Booger.
Booger sugar?
Sugar Booger.
Oh. You think that's what they were
I
insinuating?
don't know.
I'm going to say yes cuz I like that idea.
So she is very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. So she defeated a robot.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She come on. She pulled out a highly advanced blasting ray out of a closet.
All right. Okay.
So I don't have that.
But yeah, that didn't even say she invented it. They said she pulled it out of a closet.
Oh man, damn it! So Mighty Mom is just trance, like she got hypnotized.
Yeah.
She believes she can fly. Runs around the house cleaning up dust bunnies. So yeah, this is just a dude beating up a woman.
chick again. That's what happened the other time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so Homer definitely went in that. I would need like an actual superhero to beat Homer.
Yeah, kind of. Or
I mean,
just
like-
another character in the similar vein, like Peter Griffin.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically the
because they
same
have
thing.
fought. That was
Yeah.
a crazy fight.
Exactly. So, like, if you had gotten like Peter Griffin or something, yeah.
So what's that? 12-7?
Yeah, 12-7.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I am not doing too hot. Because if I would have got Homer, you would have got someone crazy.
It seems like it. With my luck and whatnot, yes.
We did do it 3 times because we got Sailor Moon. You got Sailor Moon the other time.
That's right. I knew we had done it.
It was just like immediately over.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and you were the one that told me it was immediate because I knew I was gonna win that one. But you were like, yeah, no, that's untouchable.
From what I've heard, she's ridiculous.
Just untouchable. That's so funny. Oh man.
All right, I'm coming back next week.
Right.
That's what I say every fucking week.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say something. I really meant to say it at the beginning. I know whenever we first started doing the episodes, I said this a few times, but I don't know if it's obvious, but we don't put a whole lot of time into checking like exact backstories and stuff. So we're gonna be wrong like quite a bit, like in little things and in big things.
Oh, on the comics,
mostly the comics is what I mean, because it's more for fun and whatnot. And I just wanted to let y'all know, if we mess something up, nicely tell us we messed up. I have zero problem with having somebody pointing out when we messed up.
Yeah, tell Adam when he messes
seriously,
up.
Tell me. Nicely tell me, because that's how we learn.
Yeah, no, for sure. We got a friend who listens, who has told us some stuff, and we have literally changed the show based on some of his suggestions.
It makes sense. We're going to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it works, yeah.
Yeah. Let us know, because that's how I'll learn, and next time I won't be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of, we are on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, new episodes. Oh, not Spotify. Every podcast platform, including Spotify.
There you go.
New episodes are out Monday with a video on YouTube on Monday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone's been, interacting, just listening, we appreciate all of it so much.
Sir.
I can see through our analytics, we do have some listeners out there, so we appreciate you all.
That's awesome.
So much, very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe that's it, man.
Yeah, that about wraps it up.
That's it. All right. Well, y'all have a good one.
Bye.